Hello, YouTube and Facebook. Welcome to this edition of 5 Minutes with Chris, and today is all about euphemisms. Now, I don't know about you, but I am sick of this bullshit kind of language where people make up more offensive. I feel as if they make up more offensive terms by using more words and more sentences, and instead of just coming right out and saying one word. Like, for example, in the case of, when you say, you gained a few extra pounds, meaning you didn't gain a few extra pounds, you got fat. I mean, let's face it, a few extra pounds doesn't do shit. I mean, that, to me, that's more offensive because you use more words, you try and make it sound a little nicer, when in actuality, I find it to be more offensive. I mean, I'd rather have somebody come out and call me fat. Now, granted, it's not nice at all to be called fat, but you know what? To me, it would be so much quicker to get over it. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of worrying about, all you'd have to worry about is just one word with fat. Whereas if you're talking about a few extra pounds, that's 4 different words right there. I mean, so much easier just to say fat. I mean, one word, simple, direct, honest language, and then you can go cry your ass off and then get over it. I mean, it makes it easier to get over it, honestly. Then you move on to something else, like, for example, a little thin on top. Now, what the hell does that even mean? I mean, a little thin on top, they make it sound like it's, you're planting crops or something like that. You're a little thin on top. You're not a little thin on top. You're going fucking bald. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, it's a part of life. Everybody goes bald. Everybody loses their hair. I mean, there's ways of doing something about it. I mean, just like about being fat. You exercise, you diet, I mean, all that kind of stuff. Whereas going bald, you go out and buy a toupee, you get a hair transplant. I mean, you do something like that. I mean, very simple. I mean, if you're really all that offended by your hair, then you know what? I don't know, maybe you should consider doing something like that. Now, one of the ones that really cracks me up the most is adult entertainment, because let's face it, there's nothing entertaining about adult entertainment. I mean, really, adult entertainment is pornography. That's what it is. It's like Playboy, it's like, porn on the internet, whatever the case may be. I mean, I find it honestly less, I honestly would say that it would be better if you just say, porn, because quite honestly, adult entertainment, I mean, there's really nothing entertaining about it. I mean, there's only 2 things you could do, and that's either stare at naked women or men and masturbate. I mean, let's face it, those are the only 2 things that you could do for adult entertainment. Now, there's also a lot of other things, like, for example, instead of calling it toilet paper, they say bathroom tissue. I mean, bathroom tissue, it just sounds wrong, Toilet paper has a nice little ring to it. Toilet paper. I mean, toilet paper, very simple, just honest language. I mean, you sit on a toilet, you wipe your ass with toilet paper. You don't just go up and say, oh, I gotta wipe my ass with bathroom tissue. I mean, especially like when you're saying something, for example, like, oh, I'm gonna go toilet paper the neighbor's house or whatever, right? You don't say, I'm gonna go bathroom tissue the neighbor's house. I mean, who the hell says that? That doesn't even sound right. You say, I'm gonna go TP the neighbor's house. I mean, very simple, honest language. That's really what it's all coming down to at this point. I mean, then you have like a million different terms for farts and all of that, and shit and piss and all. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, for example, instead of saying fart, how people always yell at you because you say the word fart? Oh, don't use that word. It's not nice. It's offensive. I don't like the word fart. Come up with a new name. So then you end up having to say something like pass gas. But, pass gas, that sounds like you just exploded into thin air. I mean, honestly. Pass gas is not, there's nothing, just say fart. I mean, what's the big fucking deal? Say fart. I mean, fart, you fart up and down, you fart all over the fucking house, you fart everywhere you go. That's just how it is. That's, people fart. They don't pass gas, they don't blow wind, they don't break wind, they don't do whatever kind of wind, whatever wind has to offer, they don't do that. They fart. It's very simple. We gotta just keep it very simple and direct, in my opinion. I mean, that's really all I have for today. Now, I really want to do a part 2 video to this, because this whole list that I have has, thousands of euphemisms, and I'm very curious as to see what else they have. One of the other ones that actually I forgot to mention was custodian. Now, what about janitor? What's so offensive about janitor? I mean, custodian, in fact, janitor, it's all the same thing. Why do you have to make up multiple names, I mean, it's just another way to make people feel like they're not as offensive or whatever. So with all that being said, I thank you all for watching. Stay tuned next season for part 2 to this Euphemisms video. I thank you all for watching, and goodbye, everybody.